10 years ago, when I was just starting in my career, I was making about $4,000 per month. Fast forward till today, my company generates $1.5 million per month. And throughout that 10 plus year journey, there were some things I discovered that I wish I knew when I was starting out, that I could have done that so much faster. So in this video, I'm going to outline a 7-step process for how you can go from nothing to millionaire in a short period of time. So number one is you got to go all in on personal development. Your level of success never exceeds your level of personal development. You have to become a millionaire before you make $1 million. People have it backwards. They want to make the $1 million so they can feel like a millionaire. You have to become a millionaire energetically, mentally, in every dimension, and then you produce the results in physical reality. That means you have to dial in your habits, your mindset, your lifestyle to reflect that of a millionaire. And so that first starts with acquiring new knowledge. The only thing separating you from where you are and where you want to go is your level of knowledge and your ability to execute on it. You have to read books, do courses, go to seminars, enroll in masterminds, seek out mentors. Whatever you can do, you have to aggressively pursue knowledge to upgrade your mental models. If you want to be a millionaire, you have to think, feel, and act like a millionaire. You have to change your identity and be that person before you actually have the results. That means you have to vigorously upgrade yourself. People always ask, what is the one book I have to read to produce these quantum leaps in results? And that in and of itself is the wrong question. More important than a single book is developing the habit of being a voracious learner. You have to constantly be upgrading yourself. I remember I traded in the clubs when I was 23, 24 for staying in on Friday nights and reading for 5-6 hours a night. I was doing online courses, doing 40 hours a week on top of my day job of just personal development, learning from anyone I could, taking seminars, getting therapy. You have to work on yourself and say, what are the things that are limiting me as a person from allowing success into my life? What are my habits? What are my vices that are slowing me down or stealing my progress? And what are my limiting mindsets that are stopping me from acting on my power? You have to go deep and work on yourself. And when you become the embodiment of a millionaire, the physical results soon follow. Number two is you have to upgrade your environment. Your environment is going to have the biggest impact on how you think, feel, and operate, which determines all your results. Your environment is anything in your external world. That could be the friends that you have in your circle. That could be the information that you consume, and that could be the physical spaces that you occupy. And so to walk through each one of those, number one is your friends. It's really hard to be successful and wealthy when you're surrounded by people who are broke, complaining, and victims in their life. You will not outperform your environment over a long period of time. That's why I say it's so important to upgrade yourself so you can become a higher level person to attract more high quality friends that align with the future you want to create. And that's the key, is you need to align yourself with people and circumstances that align with the future that you want to create, not the past that you've had. So you're going to have those hard conversations and go through that difficult period where you do have to cut people off. You do have to love them from a distance because you have to be more committed to your future than you are to your comfort. And that's the reality of it. So get around people that are more successful than you, that are ambitious, that can teach you things, that have great habits. Here's an interesting point. We have mirror neurons in our brains, and we automatically mirror the people that we're closest to. So you have to make sure that the people you surround yourself with, you actually want their habits and their ways of thinking and being, because unconsciously you're going to become just like them. So the five people you hang out with the most, that's real. So make sure you're very careful and curate your circle. Number two is the information you consume. So many people spend crazy amounts of time watching trash TV, scrolling through TikTok videos that have no value, just cats and random shit. You have all this negative information and stimulus and news pumping fear into your brains. And when you ingest this data, your inputs become your outputs and you start thinking about that stuff all the time too. So you have to control the inputs into your brain at the best of your ability. Instead of watching the news or watching junk TV, watch a high quality podcast, read a book, go out and have an interesting conversation with a mentor, right? But vigorously be putting in the right information into your mind so that your internal environment is as prime as it could possibly be. And number three is the physical spaces you occupy. It's really hard to be thinking clearly and stay focused when you're in a very messy environment, or You're out at bars at Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just getting blacked out with a bunch of people that you don't really care about. Those environments are low frequency. It's better to instead go to a library, go actually to a mastermind, go to a seminar, go to an event, but be around high frequency people because that's going to raise your frequency, allow you to see greater possibilities and keep you in the state to create where you're actually out there energized by your future instead of stuck in these low frequency environments that are stealing your energy. So number 3, you have to choose a vehicle. Now, this could be your own company or this could be a company that you join. I would recommend joining a company in an industry that you're excited about so you can get some domain expertise, you can build your skill sets on somebody else's dime, and if you so choose, start your own company as well. Now, extreme wealth is often built through starting companies, but you can actually get a lot richer being a number 2, number 3, even a number 10 in a very successful company than you could be as a CEO. So a lot of this comes down to self-awareness, which comes over time. But the main thing is you need to choose a vehicle that has a lot of upside. So it has to be in a great market with a lot of demand that has a good life cycle to it. For instance, I chose recruiting, and that is a massive $50+ billion market in the US alone. And so I know, okay, if I get good at this, there's a huge market opportunity here. And so there's really uncapped upside. Other opportunities might not have that same upside. A lawn mowing business is going to be a lot less scalable and lucrative, so maybe lawn mowing isn't really the industry I want to go into. So you have to choose a vehicle, an industry, a space that you have some interest in. You don't have to be passionate about it. That's a huge misconception. Passion is built over time. You're going to suck at first. And so you're not going to be passionate about something truly until you start getting your feet wet and feel confident. But more than that is you need to pick the right vehicle. Number 4 is you have to master a high income skill set. These include sales, could be marketing, copywriting, stock trading, investing. I would say sales is by far the easiest and most pragmatic way to make a lot of money because unless you're an incredible builder, selling is the direct path to making a lot of money quickly. Now, if you're like saying, hey, I want to do customer support, I love supporting people, that's great. And you can totally make a career in that, but you're not going to build wealth doing customer support because you're not actually driving revenue and growing something. So choose a high income skill set that is extremely valuable to other people that you have the ability or the capacity to be the best at. This is really critical. If I am a mathematics person, and I'm an introvert and I love solving problems, I'm probably not going to go into sales. And if simultaneously, if I'm super charismatic, outgoing, I'm a relationship builder, and I hate sitting down at a computer, I'm probably not going to go into accounting because there's a mismatch. So find something that aligns with your natural gifts that if you were to practice it and if you were to try to master it, you could be one of the best at. That's really, really important. And so you want to focus on high income skill sets. If you master one skill set, and you're really good at one thing, and you're in a great company with uncapped upside, in a great market, at a great industry, that alone can make you 7 figures a year. If you're good, you'll make 6 figures a year. If you're great, you'll make maybe $500K a year. And if you're exceptional, you'll make up to millions of dollars a year as a solo individual contributor inside of the right company. That alone can start to build wealth. But after you have that high income skill set, now you're a great salesperson, for instance, now we're at number 5, you need to create leverage. The first form of leverage before we get into the typical 4 is you have to maximize your own outputs. If you are a 10 times better salesperson 5 years from now than you are today, then you could produce 10 outputs for every 1 input. You just save 10x of your time and you can redeploy that time and other things now. So first, become undeniably great at whatever you do because the best leverage initially is on your own time by being more efficient and effective at what you do. And then you're going to max that out because there's still only one of you. No matter how great you are, even if you're the Michael Jordan of what you do, there's still only one of you. So now you're going to have to figure out how to create more leverage on your time. So the 4 ways to do that are people, code, capital, and media. Those are the asymmetric levers you can pull to get more out of your time. You can hire people, which then can do your jobs. You can fire yourself, free up more of your time to allocate towards higher leverage activities. You have code, which is you can write code to automate tasks for you to make you more productive, which if you have software also massively increases the value of your business. You have capital, you can borrow other people's capital to inject into your business to grow way faster, or you can run a hedge fund and make percentages of the capital that you raise. And then there's media, there's content, which allows you to scale yourself infinitely out to the world and attract opportunities inbound without having to do all that outbound activity. So there's various ways you can scale and create leverage, but the most wealthy people, the successful people, they think, how can I maximize my output per input of time? The more people and software robots and code and content out there working for you, the more money you're making without having to expend any additional effort. And this is the real key that separates the six-figure earners from the seven-figure earners from the billionaires. They have different levels of leverage. Number 6, this is where it gets fun. Now we're at investments. Now that you're making a lot of money, you're making $500,000, $1 million plus per year because you're one of the best at what you do. Now you need to think, how do I make this money work for me? Now it's time to focus on investments. People are trying to focus on investing way too early. I'm putting that disclosure out. If you're making 100 grand a year and putting 30K into a stock market, people will yell at me for this, but it's not going to get you rich. It's a very slow way. You need to focus on making as much money as possible, on increasing your earning potential, and then investing that. If you can invest hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions per year, that is going to compound at a massive rate. So focus on your earning potential, and now focus on intelligent investments, making that money work for you. That could be crypto, real estate, stock portfolios. I'd recommend getting a wealth manager, a fiduciary that is not incentivized to sell you bullshit mutual funds, but actually help you build a comprehensive wealth strategy. This is where things get fun, because if you have $1 million parked in 10% yielding assets per year, now you're making $100,000 per year automatically doing nothing. This is where true wealth begins, because you no longer have to trade your time for money. Your money is making you money. This is what they won't tell you. The only way to build wealth is to own assets. Our currency is being debased every year through inflation, anywhere from 5, 10%, sometimes even more. And so if you have $1 million in the bank and our currency is being debased at 10% a year, every year you are losing $100,000 of purchasing power. So the only way to get wealthy is to own assets that appreciate at a faster rate than inflation. This is what they don't want to tell you. You cannot save your way to wealth. If I had $100 million in a bank right now and I let it park there for 50 years, it would be virtually worthless. You have to invest in assets that appreciate at a faster rate than the debasement of the currency, also known as inflation. So the way to do that is to find good asset classes that you are knowledgeable about, and also have a great asset manager and wealth advisor to help construct a portfolio for you. But you have to invest in assets. That's crypto. I'm a big Bitcoin guy. This is not financial advice, but crypto, real estate, REITs. You have to study investing and study investing principles, study different asset classes, and then surround yourself with intelligent advisors. Number 7, and the last piece of this, is tax strategy and security. First, we want to learn how to make a lot of money. Then we want to figure out how to make that money make money for us while we sleep. And then we want to figure out how do we keep the most of it and protect it. This is a multi-tiered game to actually building, preserving, and creating wealth. And so when you look at tax strategy, you want to figure out, how do I pay the least amount I need to Uncle Sam? Because Uncle Sam is going to be your biggest expense line on your P&L. And so there are particular strategies and people you should work with to develop a tax strategy so that you are legally minimizing your tax burden. There are so many tax codes and so many things you can do to pay dramatically less as a business owner and even as an investor, if you're getting into real estate and other different asset classes. So this is the time now when you're starting to make millions of dollars to think, okay, how do I create a comprehensive tax and wealth strategy? How do I actually store my assets, and how do I legally classify my businesses so that I can minimize my tax burden? This is the top tier of the game. I wouldn't worry about this until you really have the rest of the pieces figured out, but this is a massive leverage point, because once you have the wealth, now you're going to want to preserve it, make sure it's protected, especially from any potential legal ramifications. You have security, because at the end of the day, why do we want to build wealth? We want wealth so we can have freedom, so we can use it to live the life that we've always wanted to live, so that we don't have to live in scarcity and fear, and we can create the life that we've always wanted. And so what's the point of that if you're always worried about your money running out, or you're worried about getting hit with some sort of lawsuit that's going to take you out of the game? The whole point of this is to have security and a foundation, a bedrock, to build your life on. And so having the right tax strategy and the right security measures to make sure your wealth is protected, that's going to give you the peace of mind to actually create a wealthy life.